Has technology simplified humans? This is an idea I have been on for a little while. I kind of got turned on to it, and it's almost like silly to cite it now. But at one point, I was real into 1984, and I read it, I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 times. And I really liked book three and the book with O'Brien explaining why he did what he did. But nevertheless, there's a essay that usually comes attached with 1984 about the use of language. And in that, it goes on to explain how language and the control of language can be used to simplify people's thoughts. And if you control the language, you can control the thoughts people have by controlling like the lines people's thoughts will move along. And kind of like that, I wonder if the internet and technology in general, but specifically the internet, is simplifying humans and all like almost making them enter into a new mental infancy, if you will. Because like now you have like the questions of like what is a woman. Now never in human before, like never in human history has this really been a debate, but now because of the irreality of the internet and people spend more time in the irreality of the internet, if you spend your time there, this is a debate. And I wonder if technology is causing humans to simplify, uh, regress. And I know that's always been like a point in science fiction. I read a lot of sci-fi novels, especially from the 30s to the 50s. A lot of the guys that came out of World War I and II. Uh, but I remember that idea showing up again and again, especially that one and like people, aliens were actually time travelers. And the last time I remember that showing up is Sphere, but I'm sure plenty of novels have been written on it since then. It's just I kind of got out of the scene. Once it gets up to like the 80s and the early 90s, I stopped caring about sci fi as much and it started to seem very hollow. Uh, it didn't have the same gravitas that like the guys that came out of World War I and II had. Anyway, simplifying humans. If humans aren't even learning, they just go and look up the information they need on the internet. Like, wouldn't that limit what a human can then conceive of as far as ideas? Like, this has to have an effect, and it can't be a good effect. Well, I suppose that's arguable because some people might want lots of uh, chattel. I'm not even sure if that word works here because I'm not even certain what it means. Uh, I mean, I know I have like a context of it, but I don't have like an exact definition, so I'm not gonna go with that. But I like it has to be having an effect, and you are seeing humans, especially Americans, are simpler than ever before. Even with things like reading and writing, people are losing the ability. Most people, I shouldn't say most people, but many people cannot write even in cursive. There's no reason to teach it anymore. I can't imagine humans not learning anything. I mean, there's a line from The Simpsons like you've wasted your time filling your brain with these useless facts when you can look up any question you want on your phone. And to a degree, obviously, there's truth in that, but there is a greater truth that you will not be able to conceive of ideas, and it is very limiting. And the discussions I see people have, like if they had a base in the thinkers and writers that had come before, many of these discussions wouldn't even be necessary, because people who are far smarter than we are have discussed these things and written about them to death. But most of those names, other than like the elite few, are even lost on us today. And like I'm very into modernist writers right now, and their whole school of thought. I was into romanticism for a while, and that was like Goethe and stuff like that. Goethe. I always pronounced it Goethe, and I still want to, but it's Goethe. Grr. That's how I remember it's Goethe, because it makes me say grr, because it should be Goethe. Irrelevant. Irrelevant. Has technology simplified human beings? I think it has, and I don't think this is. I obviously am very distrustful of technology, and it it impresses itself upon me that people avail themselves more and more to emotional arguments because they possibly don't have the capacity to understand, an intellectualized argument. And I'm frequently told, you intellectualize emotion, but you do not feel emotion. And I'd say that's a pretty fair assessment of the situation with me. Uh, and it possibly is why emotional arguments don't work very well on me, is because someone's trying to get me to feel something. I don't trust you, buddy. You just keep your distance there. And then if they don't, I become even more hostile to the idea. But uh, that's not how most people work, and that's not most people's experience with emotion. Most people avail themselves to emotion, and that's their whole world. They really, unfortunately, don't have like the same intellectual side, and you're seeing that get smaller and smaller, especially in America today. I can't imagine this is going to do anything good. But hey, what the fuck do I know? You know, I'm an idiot too, so take it for what it's worth, I guess.